One of the most important things to consider when thinking about a college major is pay. Now, following your passion is of utmost importance, and I highly recommend you pursue the career that you love. But at the same time, you want to think about what these careers pay, because even a slight change in your avenue can result in a much higher pay scale going forward. It's important to think about pay before you make the incredible financial commitment that college is. In this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 highest paying majors, and some of them will definitely shock you. I'm also going to go over the top 5 lowest paying majors. Now, I'm not saying that any of these majors are good or bad, because everyone has to do what they love at the end of the day, but I wanted to provide you guys with this information, so let's get into it. I'm NickTheTutor, and I've helped over 50,000 students prepare for the SAT, ACT, APs, and college applications, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the top 5 highest paying majors and the top 5 lowest paying majors. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you some bonus honorable mentions for popular careers that are high paying but didn't make the top 5 highest list, so let's get into it. Okay, so I want to preface this video with my statement earlier. It's very important that you consider your passions. Just because something has a high pay or a low pay doesn't mean you should or shouldn't pursue that. I personally majored in psychology and went to law school. That was the path I chose. That was not necessarily motivated by money, but obviously that's a factor. I'm not even doing that anymore. So things change. You could always change your path in life. That's totally something that you can do. You can change your major. So once again, this is not set in stone. I just wanted to provide this information to you. Now, you're going to find that many of these majors are quite niche specific and quite shocking, especially on the highest paying side. We're going to see they have kind of a pattern to them that you'll notice. So let's get into the first one. I wanted to also add, for the highest paying majors, we're talking about starting salaries over $100,000 or more for most of these majors. So you're really looking at making a very large amount of money at a very young age, which appeals to a lot of people. So let's get into number 1. So number 1 is actually petroleum engineering. Now, engineering is going to be a trend. Why is petroleum engineering such a niche specific major, the highest paying major? Why is that the case? Well, the petroleum industry in general is hugely lucrative. Everybody is making thousands and thousands and millions of dollars. The companies are some of the biggest companies in the world. It's also quite a dangerous job in many respects. Imagine living on an oil rig. That's what a lot of these people are doing, and in many instances it can be dangerous, but therefore is very high paying. One top school for this major would be Texas A&M, UT Austin, schools that are nearby to where the petroleum processing plants are. So that's going to be Texas and in the South. Number 2, computer science / engineering. We all know that computers and AI technology are taking us into a new wave for the future. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of job creation, and especially in AI. People that can code and engineers in that area are often highly compensated. It's a hugely important skill for many companies. It's also something that is not easy to learn. Like, you need to put a lot of time and effort into learning these things, but at the same time, those careers are extremely highly paying. I highly recommend this as an area for a lot of students who are interested in science and math. Some of the top schools for this major would be MIT, Stanford, schools like that. Probably know those already, but once again, a hugely highly compensated career field. Number 3 highest paying major is Pharmaceutical Sciences. Now, that's not necessarily being a pharmacist, which also is actually a great and highly paying career, but I'm talking more about the research and development side. Once again, we're talking about industries. When we're talking about petroleum, we're talking about computer engineering, we're talking now about medicine, right? These are industries that produce billions, if not trillions of dollars. So if you're involved in the research and development of pharmaceuticals, or even in fact the sales of pharmaceuticals, that's going to be a highly compensated job, because there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of understanding, and you need to understand biology and other chemistry, physics. These are extremely important things. And once again, we're talking about 3 STEM fields in the top 3 highest paying jobs, so there's no coincidence there. Some great schools in this career path would be University of Michigan and UNC Chapel Hill. Those are 2 that came on my list. There's probably many others, but once again, engineering, sciences, STEM, highly paying. You're going to start to see a trend here. Number 4, aerospace engineering. Once again, the aerospace industry is something that billions of dollars are pumped into. Everything that's done in outer space is going to be costly, and therefore the employees that work on those things are highly compensated. Imagine a career where you're working on spacecraft for SpaceX or for NASA. I mean, these are hugely difficult things to achieve. The fact that humans have even entered space is incredible, but imagine the potential now with possible civilization on the moon, or even just mining. You think about space mining in general, find gold or platinum or some other valuable earth metals in asteroids or in foreign objects. Billions and trillions of dollars can be made, so this is a highly compensated career. Once again, very niche, very specific, and once again, engineering. Number 5, chemical engineering. Of course, we're still in the engineering field. I think I should have lumped engineering together as the highest paying career in existence, but once again, chemical engineering is also a hugely high paying career, and some great schools for that would be MIT, Stanford, and the like. These careers are very hard to get into. I must say, one of the most challenging career paths to take in your college years is the engineering path. You're really going to have to study, whereas, for example, when I was majoring in psychology, not to say that that's easy, but it definitely did not possess the rigor that engineering does. So you really have to be ready to prepare yourself for that. Secondarily, to get into these schools, you really need to show an interest in this subject before you get to college. So you need to be in those AP classes. You need to be doing research on your own. You need to be immersing yourself in the subject whatever way possible, even if some of those other things aren't possible. You need to show them that you have a genuine interest, that you just don't want the money, right? Because the money is one thing, but once again, the love and the understanding and the learning is more important when you're looking at it from a college perspective. So to get in, you have to really show that you love it. Now, I'm going to have my honorable mentions at the end of this video once again, and those will not include anything in engineering, so I made sure to gear those towards other careers. Let's get into the top 5 lowest paying college majors. Number 1, early childhood education. Now, being a high school teacher actually can be a very lucrative career, especially if you get into administration, and it's a very enriching career for a lot of people. I work with students every day. I love it. Early childhood education, especially like preschool, is typically not unionized, so it's private schools, and therefore, since they have to pay out of their own pocket, the funds are less available, and it's just not a highly paying career. That said, it can be highly paying in the sense of enrichment and purpose in life, right? You're doing something good for children, you're educating them, you're helping them learn and grow, and you're an important part of their development. So I think even though it's one of the lowest paying careers monetarily, it's probably one of the highest paying careers in terms of enrichment and fulfillment for your life. So once again, that doesn't mean I don't recommend this career, I just wanted to put that on your radar. Some great schools for that would be Vanderbilt, Harvard, and any school that has a great education program. Lowest paying major number 2 is actually social work. Social work is another important thing for society, right? We need to help people, and as you can tell, the careers that are more towards helping people tend to have lower salaries, and the careers towards science and math tend to have higher salaries. Social work is another important thing, right? I don't want to downplay the importance of it. It benefits a lot of people. The reason that social work is low paying is that most of the jobs are in government or non-for-profits. So just because of budgetary concerns, the job is low paying. It's also not a job that possesses a skill in the sense of like engineering or math or science. It's more of a general skill. So therefore the job is lower paying. Doesn't mean it's lower value. And once again, as you can tell, the jobs on this side of the coin are probably more personally fulfilling, not as monetarily fulfilling. So once again, social work, a great career, but not the highest paying. Some great schools for social work: University of Chicago, Berkeley, so on and so forth. Lowest paying major number 3, theology. Theology involves becoming a priest or a rabbi or something like that. For whatever reason, those jobs also are not high paying. Obviously, if someone's working for a church or a synagogue or a mosque or some other religious organization, right? They're not necessarily being paid the most because it's based on donations, and there's, it's not really a company where they're making millions and millions of dollars. I guess it could be, but most probably aren't. It's due to charitable donations from the patrons, right? So not a hugely high paying job. Once again, emotionally, probably very fulfilling for the people that do it. They have a great connection to their religion. They love it. They feel a huge amount of belief in what they're saying, that they're helping people, that they're guiding them towards a better direction. Once again, very fulfilling, not financially fulfilling. Some strong programs for these would be any divinity school. Obviously, you have a lot of top colleges have divinity schools, or any other school can be great for this major. Lowest paying major number 4, fine arts. Now, this is one of those careers where, you could have obviously an average salary that's very low, but if you become highly skilled in art, it can actually be very high, right? If you become the creative director of a big company or a marketing agency or something like that, you can get paid millions and millions of dollars. So I just wanted to also throw that out there. For any of these majors, you can make a lot of money. Obviously, it involves a little bit of extra work and something different than just doing the job. But once again, fine arts, typically on average, a low paying major. But once again, if you possess high artistic skill and you rise up the chain, you can make a huge amount of money. Some great schools for fine arts: Pratt Institute, Rhode Island School of Design, and more. Number 5, lowest paying major, music. Now, once again, music could be a passion for someone, just like art can. It's something that you love, that you enjoy doing. You can make it your career. The average pay for a musician is quite low, but once again, if you become famous on TikTok, if you become famous on YouTube, if you become a renowned artist or creative director or some kind of big wig in that industry, you're going to be a millionaire, right? So once again, the sky's the limit for all of you out there, but the average pay for music is quite low. Some popular schools for music: Berkeley and Juilliard, and obviously many more. Now, before I get into my bonus sleeper picks for highest paying salaries, I wanted to add one more comment. Obviously, for the highest or lowest paying salaries, a career is what you make of it. Just because a career is low paying on average doesn't mean you can't rise up the chain, become hugely successful, and make a ton of money. Now I'm going to give you my bonus picks for other high paying college majors. Bonus pick number 1 is nursing. The average pay for nurses is actually very high. It's a hugely important career. You can always find a job, and it's a job that takes a high level of education and skill. So I highly recommend nursing. Now, the salaries for nurses may not rise to the massive level that some of these other salaries can, but once again, the average pay and the starting pay is quite good, and it's an amazing career. My second bonus pick for honorable mention for highest paying majors would be finance. Of course, finance is an incredible career that can be extremely lucrative. The starting salary can sometimes be on the lower side depending on what company you get into. Of course, there's huge variables here. If you're working for one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, your starting salary is going to be great, right? If you're working in a bank or in a smaller place, then obviously it's going to be lower. But once again, that's a great career that can really leverage your skills, knowledge of math, knowledge, critical thinking ability, and become a hugely high paying career. But once again, you have to rise up the chain just like any other career. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're considering some of these top paying careers, you're looking at an engineering or a finance or a nursing, schools that are accepting students on those majors are looking more at test scores and grades and extracurricular activities that relate to that field. So if you're looking to boost up your application and bring your SAT score into the more competitive range, check out the description of this video. I have a link to my new digital SAT book, which just released. It will help guide you through the exam so you can get that 1,500 score that will get you into a lot of these very competitive programs. I'm also going to be releasing a digital SAT course in the coming months, so take a look out for that. Now, my final question to you guys is this fair? Do you think that it's fair that engineering and other majors are so highly compensated, where majors like early childhood education and social work are not as high in the compensation scale? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.